Welcome back, Steve Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on today's edition of the show is a man, of course, you know so well, Kingsley Woki. Good evening to you, and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Extraordinary.
Yeah, good evening, Kingsley.
It promises to be an exciting edition of the show because it is the weekend edition of it, and we are ready, of course, to take you through the happenings that the matches, of course, that will be coming up this weekend in the Premier League, and as well as the other top 5 leagues in the world. Let's talk basketball, as MFM of Lagos, emerged champions of Women's Basketball League after beating Nigerian Customs 64-60 on the final day of the Super 4 at the Indoor Sport Hall of the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. It was a battle between the two teams that won the Savannah and Atlantic Conference of the Women's Basketball League. But the Shade Olukoya Queens emerged winners in a thrilling encounter yesterday. En route to the final, Nigerian Customs defeated all their opponents during the first and second phase of the Savannah Conference, while MFM turned teams around during the second phase to emerge winners and sports in the final 4 as well. Now, the game ended 58-58 after the full quarters before MFM claimed the victory in the overtime to win the league title for the very first time. Now, Air Warriors finished in second place after beating Bias Blue away 60-42 in the other game, while Nigerian Custom claimed the third position in that particular one. Impressive one for MFM, winning the Women Basketball League down here in Nigeria for the very first time. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic one. I think is something that we always clamor. Yes, we like that upset, and then winning it for the first time is, for me, very, very, very good. I think looking at the tournament, they didn't really start the tournament very, very well, but they grew into the tournament and they had to win it against all odds. And for me, that's very, very good. MFM is a church, and they have also shown that they have interest in sports development. We have seen them own football teams, and they have a football team which played in the MPFL, and now a basketball team also winning a trophy. Yes, the National League for Women, and for me it's a very, very big one for the organization, and for me it's good. It's good. We are seeing talent be discovered in the church and all that, so it's very commendable.
Very, very commendable. The Basketball Women League down here in Nigeria, of course, just got concluded. But Woki, we've not really heard much about the male basketball league for some time.
Yeah, we hear that they'll be organizing an abridged league very, very soon. It should be this October or November. But we hear there will be a league because they have to produce a representative for Nigeria for the African Basketball League. So we hear that the schedules have been done, and how it will go about the Savannah, the Athletic Conference, all those kind of stuff. We heard in Asaba and also Lagos. So we had something like that during the week. And for me, I don't really buy the idea, but it's something they will have to do for the meantime. And let's see how it goes for them. But it's not really something we should commend. I think we should have a proper league, not an abridged league, a league that you will play for, isn't 2 weeks, or even it's not even up to a month. So you might not really get the true champions. You might not really get the true winners. Some people will be cutting corners to victory. And I don't really like those kind of scenario where people will be cutting corners to victory. So you need a proper league where everybody will test each other to see their capabilities and see whether they can come out fit to be called a champion. So we will not see it at the moment. Maybe in future, we'll see a proper league in the basketball, MBBF and the basketball league in the country. But for now, we have to make do with what we have.
All right, it's an interesting one. Just talking about the Women League, MFM's Regina Donanu was voted as the most valuable player of the season, and the player with the highest a three-pointer in the encounter was such an impressive one for her. And Bayasa's Wuji Vivian won the award for the highest rebounder in the tournament. It was such an impressive one as well for them. We hope that MFM, of course, will keep this particular momentum going forward, especially in the league, especially in the league, of course, when it gets when we see the league, of course, kick-starts once again. So it's been an impressive one. We hope that the Basketball Federation, talking about the MPBF, will also extend this gesture of the Women League to the Male League, because when you take a look at it, the Women League, they have a sponsor, but the male do not have. And I think we've actually, it's been 2 seasons now, we've not seen the Male Basketball League, of course, being on in the country. And at the end of the day, it actually results to poor performance, from the team. I heard the reason why they are even coming up with the hybrid league format for the male team is as a result of, it's just a reason of getting a representative for the Basketball African League. But should that be the target? Even when we get to the Basketball African League, you see the team, they do not perform very well. So, okay, I don't know what you make of how basketball has been, how basketball has been managed so far in the country.
I think it's not really been good, but you could also say that there have been issues in the basketball, the federation, the MBBF, 2 factions for so many years, and it looks like it has been resolved, but we are still seeing a little bit of things happening there. But I think we have not really gotten it in terms of organizing a league for now, but maybe it might change in future, because in recent times we have not really been doing well. For our male team, have not really been doing well. The D Tigers recently, they failed to qualify for the Olympics, and for me, it's a total failure because of the talents we have, both outside the country and in the country. So, for me, it has not really been there. They need to find a way to solve their issues and try to organize. See, when you organize a league, you set the standard, and for me, we don't really have that at the moment. And so many other things happening around the federation, money issues, and who will become the chairman, who will become the president, and all this kind of stuff. So that's not really what the federation needs. I think when everything is balanced, I believe they will get it right.
All right, let's see, and let's see how it goes, and we pray that the MPBF, of course, will get it right at the end of the day. Let's talk UFC as Kamaru Usman saves the co-main event by stepping up to middleweight to take on the bogeyman of the division. Now, Paulo Costa pulls out of his 7th UFC fight, which is good thing for everyone. But Usman provide an exciting and very different matchup. Now, after 15 straight UFC wins, including 5 welterweight title defenses, cementing his pound-for-pound status, and the aura of invisibility was snapped by Leon Edward. Of course, that was in his last fight, as it is. But the man, of course, is now ready to take on Chimaev. At this point, talking about that one, that fight will be going down this weekend. So it promises to be an interesting one to watch. As for Kamaru Usman, is just coming back. He's coming back, from defeat where he was defeated by Edward. He has lost 3 times. I think we'll see him, he has actually fought, I think, about 20 fights. The man has actually lost 3 times. But for Khamzat Chimaev, the man has fought 12 times and he has never lost, any of his fights. So I don't know what you make of Usman, getting to this particular encounter against Chimaev.
Yeah, Chimaev will be a very tough opponent for him. I think he was disappointed losing that last bout to Leon Edwards. But this time around, he's meeting somebody that have not lost in 12. He had a 12-0. Yes, 12/0. That means he has not lost any fight so far. So it's going to be a very, very cagey encounter. I don't know for Usman Kamaru. I don't know the motivation. What is motivating him at the moment? I don't know. After losing that fight, I think the motivation level will be somehow low, but I think he needs to psych himself up and see whether he can win this one And then for me, it will be a very tough fight on Saturday. So we'll get to see what he will do. Kamaru Usman have shown that he's a good kickboxer. The UFC, very good in UFC. And so let's see how it goes for him. But I fear the opponent is also very, very good.
Interesting one. It promises to be an interesting one this weekend between Kamaru Usman and the man Chimaev. And we'll see how this one, of course, will pan out at the end of the day. We'll hope, of course, Usman will redeem himself this time around. As it is, it's going to be a very, very tight encounter. But let's see what Usman will be able to do this weekend. The fight comes up tomorrow. And we hope that the man from Nigeria, Kamaru Usman, of course, will get things done the proper way for Nigerians. All right, let's talk Formula One on the show as we hear that leading Formula One drivers, express shock at a decision to raise possible fine that can be imposed on competitors to 1 million euros. Now, governing body, the FIA said yesterday it was quadrupling the maximum fine a steward can impose from 250,000 euros. Now, some of the drivers, of course, they've actually expressed their dissatisfaction over the increment. Now, Charles Leclerc, who is a driver for Ferrari, has actually come up to say that he said, and I quote, "I have no idea what deserved a 1 million euros penalty," he said. He said the rise was a huge amount of money and commented. It was said the rise was a very huge amount of money, for the driver. And some of the drivers are making less than that particular, amount stated, 1 million euros. So I don't know what you make of this. Do you think is actually a good one? First of all, why the increments?
I don't know. I don't really know the salaries cap in Formula One. I don't know what each driver earns, but everybody has their own their own Formula One team. And for me, I don't know how much they make. I don't know how much they are worth. But for them to bring a fine of that amount, it means that every team has up to that amount, or even more, can pay up to that amount, or even more. Because I know that fines used to be very well listened and all those kind of things. So them bringing in this kind of initiative, I don't know. I don't know what the aim is, but I don't know whether it's going to affect the drivers or the teams. I don't know how it's going to be. But for me, I don't know what I would say it's a very good initiative or it's bad. But let's see how it goes. It's when you are at fault, you pay the fine. So it doesn't mean, so you will have to find a way not to default so that you cannot pay. You need to find a way to avoid not paying those fines because it looks outrageous for me. But let's see how it goes. There are rules in every sport, and they just have to abide by it, and maybe even appeal if it's possible.
All right, let's see what comes up from here. But the drivers are not happy at the moment because of what it is. Some of the drivers earn less than the amount, 1 million euros, and as it is, it's going to be very difficult, of course, for some of the constructors fulfilling this particular one at the end of the day. Let's talk tennis. As Japanese wildcard Shintaro Mochizuki eliminated top seed Telefreeze from the Japan Open yesterday in a 6-peak upset. The 215th ranked player overcame world number 10 Freeze lost 6-6-4, 7-6 on home soil in Tokyo to reach the quarterfinals. Now, Freeze stormed through the opening set without reply from Mochizuki as the American looked short to book his spots in the last 8. But the 20-year-old battled back immensely to become the second Japanese player to beat an opponent in the top 10 this year after Taro Daniel. Was such an impressive one, of course, for the man. Now, Taro Daniel, of course, overcame Casper Ruud at the Mexico Open in March, and the defeat is a blow to Freeze, who is currently ninth in the ATP Life Race to Turin. Now, one spot behind the top 8 qualifying places, he sits 145 points behind the final qualifying spot, currently occupied by Hungarian, and will fall further down the pecking order if Alex Deminor, who is 13th, and Tommy Paul, who is 12th, produce title runs in Tokyo. And Steve, talking about tennis on the show, Alex de Minaur continued his title bid with a 6-love 7-5 win over Diego Schwartzman yesterday and became the first Australian since Lleyton Hewitt in 2004 to reach 10 tour level quarterfinals in a season. Elsewhere, Stefanos Tsitsipas scrap past Botica van Senchup, a 7-5, 6-3 in the opening round of the European Open. It was such an impressive one, of course, in the world of tennis. And the Greek returned to Antwerp in Belgium at the top seed 6 years after he reached the 2017 semi-final as a 19-year-old qualifier in 2017. And Tsitsipas will face Yannick Hoffmann in the next round after beating Dominic Thiem in 3 sets, 6-4, 5-7, 6-4 in a very, very tense encounter. Let's move on as we take a look at other matters as well revolving the world of tennis at the moment. It's all about the man, Carlos Alcaraz. We've seen him, going through some setback at the moment. Wimbledon champion Carlos Alcaraz said yesterday he will skip next week ATP event in Basel after picking up back and foot injuries. What do you make of this one? The man talking about Carlos Alcaraz, we've seen him not putting up. We've not seen that top-notch performance from him ever since, of course, he was dropped from the. He was actually beaten in the last Grand Slam. Alcaraz has not really been on the best of form, and at this point in time, we've seen him, of course, not putting up a very impressive performance in some of the ATP tournament. This one in Basel has actually dropped due to injury worries. I don't know what you make of Alcaraz. Is it because the year's gradually coming to an end, or probably there is no much, there is no huge championship to play, probably a Grand Slam? I think that's why he's relenting, or probably the shock of exiting in the last Grand Slam is still disturbing him.
Yes, I think it's a combination of all that you have mentioned. I think since losing that semi-final match at the US Open to Daniil Medvedev, I think the other games, the other ATP tournaments he has gone to, he has not really done so much. I don't know, maybe he's protecting himself from injuries. He doesn't want to overstretch himself and all that. And for me, I think that the season has ended. I think he's just trying to maybe play some selected games and wait for the Grand Slam next year, the Australian Open. So I think for him, I think the season has ended for him, and he doesn't want to do so much. In fact, any small injury he has now, he had decided to rest, so he will heal and heal properly before those events will come up next year. So for me, it's his choice. He has to manage his body. I know he's still very young, to avoid burnouts and all that. So he's trying to be in the possible good shape for the future. For me, good player, but I think he needs to do more. He needs to up his game whenever he's ready to compete.
Impressive one, and let's see how this one will go. Maybe the man is just trying to, preserve his strength for next year, because come January, the Australian Open will come up. Maybe he's just trying to see how he can get things done and dusted. But talking about ending the year as world number one, I think that is gradually getting away from him, because Novak Djokovic, of course, is still there, and him not playing at the Basel championship, of course, give Djokovic, an edge. Maybe Djokovic, of course, might just end the year as the world number one.
Yeah, but very possible. It's looking so, because when you keep missing these tournaments, your points will not increase, and I think Djokovic has been playing. So I think the way it's looking, I think Novak Djokovic will finish the day as world number one. I think he has done enough within these few months to be the world number one. He won 2 Grand Slams and the Wimbledon and also the US Open. So I believe it's enough for him to finish the year as world number one.
All right, still talking about tennis. Former British number one, Emma Raducanu, says provoking, provoking, provoking and challenging questions could explain why she has had a high turnover of coaches. The 2021 US Open winner split with her fifth coach in 2 years in June when she parted ways with Sebastian Sech. And is yet to confirm a new coach. Is yet to confirm a new coach. Raducanu started her career with Nigel Sears, who left shortly after she reached the fourth round of Wimbledon in July 2021, before Andrew Richardson guided her to her famous victory at Flushing Meadows a couple of months later. And Tobin Bess was appointed in November 2021, but left in April 2022. He was replaced by Dmitry Satonov, who warned of a red flag and potential problem if Raducanu continued to listen to many voices. What do you make of this one, Woki? Talking about Emma Raducanu, she has actually struggled to hit the level she found when winning the US Open as an 18-year-old and has not played since losing 6-2, 6-1 against Lina Ostapenko in Stuttgart Open in April. We actually saw her, of course, she went through surgery on both wrist and ankle, and that was in May. And as it stands now, we're just looking forward to see if she will actually bounce back strongly. But what do you make of the reason why she has been changing her coach? It said she's trying to tax, the mental ability of our coaches, and that the provoking and challenging questions has been the reason why she has been changing coaches. That's to say that the coaches have not been able to deliver or probably, answer her questions properly.
So also frustration, maybe it's frustrated, When you have tested success before, you would like to test more, and you would like to find every solution to get back to where you belong. But we know the inconsistency in the WTA, and for me, she has not really been there after winning the Wimbledon Open in 2021. She has struggled in lots of tournaments she has participated, and for me, it's not really good for her. I think she needs to be very consistent with her results. I think also the coaches need to be very stable, good ones, the ones that can advise her, and also she has to listen to advice and see how she can be able to come back. I think the WTA has shown that if you're a little bit consistent, you might achieve something. We have seen people go on to win Grand Slams even without doing so much. So for me, she needs to, that hype that was given to her, she needs to up that hype, and I have not really seen it from her at the moment. So for me, a lot going on in her mind, and she just has to do more.
All right, at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from this break, I'll dive straight to the beautiful world of football. A whole lot to talk about in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Please stay with us.
Went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. He does a right hand and down goes Paul straight away. Elsewhere, beyond Israel.
welcome back. Still Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and it's time to talk football on the show. Let's start with the Nigerian Premier Football League, as we see some matches this weekend. Niger Tornadoes will be gnashing against Bayelsa United, as Lobby Stars will be gnashing against Abia Warriors. Remo Stars will be gnashing against Sporting Lagos. Aqua United will also be gnashing against Shooting Stars. Kara United against Enugu Rangers. Plateau United will be gnashing against Ocean Stars. And Kano Pillars will be gnashing against Rivers United. Gombe United against Bender Insurance. And we'll see Heartland FC against Arsenal United. Okay, what do you make of the fixture in the Nigerian Premier Football League this weekend?
Well, interesting games. Aqua United will be at home, and they'll be looking forward to see whether they can win their game. They have not really been fantastic so far. I think their last game at home, they drew with the promoted team, Sporting Lagos. And also this weekend, Sporting Lagos will be playing Western Derby against Remo Stars. So it's going to be very, very tough. And also, Kano Pillars will be playing Rivers United, another tough game. Kano Pillars in Kano, we know they are coming from the NNL. So I don't know how it will be, whether they will still have that massive support, and whether the crowd will be cheering them against the pride of Rivers. It's going to be very, very big one this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Impressive fixtures, of course, this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and we'll hope that, of course, it's going to be an interesting one this time. Okay, this is match day 4. I think last week, that was match day 3, we saw the first away win of the season, and it was Remo Stars that got that first away win as they beat Bayelsa United in the Watom in match day 3. What do you make of it? Do you think we're going to see another away win this weekend?
Yeah, possibly we'll see. I think the league has shown that teams can now go away and win. And it's always very difficult to
Has it really shown? Because we just won away win in this is match day 4 now, and you just won one away win.
Well, at least we have recorded one. Maybe in weeks to come we will record more. Like I said, it's not easy to go away from home and win games in the MPFL. It's always very, very difficult. So if you see any team doing it, I think they did really work hard to make it happen. So Remo Stars being the first team is good against Bayelsa United. I know they are not really that tight, but let's see how it goes this weekend. The matches are very, very difficult games this weekend. So maybe we might get an away win, maybe 2 this weekend.
All right, so let's see how it goes this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Would there be an away win this weekend? We keep our fingers crossed and see how the matches, of course, will pan out at the end of the day. So talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League, clubs hierarchy in the Nigerian Premier Football League have been charged to provide conducive atmosphere at all times during the matches of the 2023 and 2024 season. The charge came through a memo to the clubs and signed by the MPFL Chief Operating Officer Davidson Owemi, who observed that there have been a number of disturbing incidences reported around the changing rooms for the referees at some venues. The club bosses were reminded that no club official is allowed access to match officials before, during, and after any fixtures. Owemi appealed to the club's leaders to provide enabling condition for a professional match management to avoid the ugly reports that have been coming out of some venues. He warned that the league administration would not hesitate to apply the full sanctions as provided in the framework and rules of the MPFL in proven cases of unacceptable access to match officials. In a separate development, the MPFL wants clubs to avoid the penchant for requesting fixture rescheduling, noting that with the release of the full fixtures, all clubs have been placed on sufficient notice to plan their schedule. What do you make of this thing coming from the Nigerian Premier Football League that club officials, of course, should stay away from the referee's room?
Yes, it's an incident that always occur in the league. I think It's not the first time it's happening. I don't know whether it will be the last. Before now, the host team, they used to, they are the ones to cater for the logistics of the referees. Okay, let me know if we say referees. They are the ones to cater for the logistics of the match officials every match day. It used to be like that in the past, and a lot of things happened in the background. Maybe later they said, okay, they're going to start paying. But we also see these club owners or the people, the host team, still having a say in what really happened. They find a way to maneuver the referee and the hotels. They are the ones that book the hotels and so many other things. And in a match day, when things are not really going very well, you see them after halftime going into the referee's dressing room to sometimes it used to be harassed, sometimes to say so many things so that they will threaten the referee. Sometimes they even send area boys out to go there and ginger the referees, threaten the referees that they should change their ways. I don't know how the referee will change their ways again. Their ways is to officiate the match on the field. You tell them to change their ways. I don't know how you want the referees to change their ways again. So you tell them to do things they don't really want to do. You see, during the second half, the referee will give an imaginary penalty from nowhere. So this is what has been happening down the years, and the league, the LMC or the people in charge of the league have not really been able to fight this because of maybe the welfare package is not really much. Imagine when a club tells you, okay, we'll give you this, influence this game, do something, give us penalty from nowhere. Once our player enter inside the 18, if you just give us a penalty, if the match is tight, just when the player enters inside a penalty and somebody just touch him small, give us penalty. We will give you this, we'll give you that. It happens. We have heard rumors of things like that happen in the Nigerian Premier Football League. So it will still continue if they don't have the full autonomy. If they are not taking care of the referees or the match officials very, very well, these clubs owners will still have a way to maneuver them to their side, try to influence them, influence their decision, influence everything that will happen on a match day. So for me, they just have to find a way. I know the money is not, sometimes the referee will tell you the money is not enough for that kind of thing. We need money to take care of our family. Things are hard. The country is hard and all this kind of stuff. So that's not really what we want. We want the referees to have this. In fact, they need to be free when officiating. They need to officiate free and fair. It need to be like an election, free and fair election. So, but sometimes we have seen that's not the case in some games in our league. So it's something we are not proud of. It's something I don't know whether it will end anytime soon. I'm not sure. So it's very, 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 very wrong.
Very wrong, and we hope that this, of course, will actually be put to an end.
And I'm talking about the fixture.
Rescheduling.
I don't know. They should know. The club should know. If they say you should play on Saturday is you plan ahead of time. If your next, if your week 10 fixture will be in Lagos, you will not be planning how you will travel to Lagos. If it's in Abuja, you plan ahead of time. Not when that time you will not be telling the LMC to do what for you. I don't really understand. So
at some points, will you really blame the clubs because maybe cost of transportation, cost of executing a match is very, very expensive.
That's why the fixtures are out. You plan ahead of time. The only people that might have an excuse is maybe if you're playing the continent. Yes, you might have an excuse for your games to be rescheduled. That's the people that have an excuse. And this season, we don't have them. It's only, okay, we have them, but it's only Rivers United that is there. So I don't think other teams will be given an excuse. The only feature that might be postponed is maybe when Rivers United are playing continental feature any weekend they are playing, their games will be rescheduled. Apart from them, other people should work according to how the fixture list is and try not to make excuses because when they favor you, other teams will like them to be favored also. So it doesn't really make sense.
All right, let's see how it goes this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We hope all will be done properly, just like the league body has said, and we look forward to see some interesting, action in the weekend matches as well. Let's talk about the African Super League. As we've seen that I talked about Tenyimba Football Club. They'll be in action this weekend against Wydad AC, and even without kicking a ball against Wydad Casablanca on Sunday. Nigeria Imba already assured of $1 million. And that is the least amount for the 8 clubs featuring in the Africa Champions Super League, which kicks off this Friday in Tanzania. The 4 clubs that fails at this stage, which is the quarterfinal, will get $1 million. Now, no Nigerian club could boast of such winning before now. Now, if Enyimba scale the hurdle from Wydad Casablanca in a Wednesday return match in Casablanca, their stake becomes higher. There will be an increase of $700,000 over the $1 million they would have gotten. Now, if they had crashed out, losing out in the final will see Enyimba getting $3 million, while winning the inaugural African Football League will earn Enyimba $4 million. Wookie, impressive one. We talk about the package of the African Super League.
Yeah, big one, big money, and for me, this is a motivation. This is an incentive to even do more. But if Enyimba was not serious before, this will make them to be serious. They should go there and play like professionals. They should go there and represent the country very, very well. There is money involved in the competition. That's why they call it the Super League. And for me, it would be very nice if they go through, but I don't see it happening. Without, it's a better team, and they have everything going for them. So anybody will have to do more. They will have to surprise me to go to the next stage of this competition.
All right, so I'm talking about Enyimba. They will be in action on Sunday against Wydad AC. I think it's going to be an interesting one and a very tough encounter, of course, for Enyimba. Simba will be in action against Ahali today. Espirito de Luanda will be in action against Mamelodi Sundown tomorrow. TP Mesempe against Esperance of Tunis on Sunday. So it promises to be an exciting one to watch, talking about the African Super League. But okay, what do you make of the idea behind this African Super League? What is really the motive? What is the target with this league?
Well, football is expanding. People are willing to invest in football because it's very marketable, and looking at what's happening abroad, we saw in Europe they wanted to bring something like the Super League. It didn't really work because of fixture congestion and so many other things. Some clubs did not really buy into it, but in Africa here we don't really have so much competition, so they decided to make it work. And looking at the money involved, it shows that a lot of people have really invested in the competition, and it's a competition that might stay. If after this first edition if the first edition is a success, I think it will still continue. And for me,
the main purpose of the Super League is to generate money for football.
Yeah, for football.
And that was what they wanted to do, in Europe.
Europe, yes.
But
for the clubs.
Yeah, for the clubs. But there was this disagreement from the league, especially the Premier League, that it will actually take the beauty of some of the leagues, and all of that. But coming down to Africa, just like you mentioned, we've seen people coming to sponsor this one. That's why we're seeing this huge amount of money. But do you think, at the end of the day, we'll see that glory? Will the African Super League become one of the best, league in the world? Because even some are saying that it might actually take the shine from the CAF Champions League, probably the CAF Confederation Cup. Because when you see big teams, these are teams that are renowned in Africa, coming up to play together. So I think there will be that side attraction. People will want to watch, we Enyimba get past Wydad, TP Masempe. You talk about the Ahali, and the rest of these are teams that have done well in Africa when it comes to the CAF Champions League, the CAF Confederation Cup as well. So everyone will want to watch them. But take a look at the way African football has been. Do you think, from what we're doing, from what Africa is trying to achieve with the African Super League, do you think they will actually get, their aim? They will actually get what they want at the end? Because one thing about this is for this league to become global, or even people beyond Africa should watch what is happening in this league. So I don't know, do you think they can achieve that?
Yes, they can achieve. I think the publicity is good. It will be on TV. Very important, and for me, we'll have to look maybe at the quality of play how fans will turn up for these games. That's one of the things that we'll have to consider and things we need to look at in this first edition. I know
It's really about the fans. How would they turn up? Because down there in Europe, especially if Manchester United is playing Real Madrid, people want to pay a flight ticket to go watch that match wherever they are. So that's a big game. People want to see the likes of Jude Bellingham in Real Madrid. People want to see Vinicius Junior play. You know, that side attraction. But do you think the African League or probably the African teams have that same attraction?
Well, we have to wait. We have to wait. We have to wait for now. This is the first edition. Let's see how this one goes. I know there's talent in Africa, so much talent in Africa, and through this Super League, we even know them more because we watch them and see what they can be able to do. So I will not really judge them for this first edition. Let's see how it goes. Then from subsequent editions, we'll start to evaluate how it has really gone, the league, and let's see how it goes.
All right, still talking about football down here. Let's move down as we take a look at other matters revolving around football in Europe. As two clubs, the defending champion Manchester City and Newcastle, will be the only English Premier League side that would not be affected when the African Cup of Nations kicks off in Cote d'Ivoire. Both clubs have no players involved, and potentially 40 players are projected to miss the Premier League action as long as their teams last at the Continental Football Fiesta holding in Cote d'Ivoire. The team that will be worst hit is Nottingham Forest, where the duel of Super Eagles player Olaina and Taiwo Awoniyi feature. Apart from the Nigerian players, the club has 5 other African players heading to Cote d'Ivoire in January. In all, the club will miss 7 players. Manchester United will lose 3 players, including first-choice goalkeeper Andrew Onana, while Liverpool are set to lose star man Mohamed Salah. The African Cup of Nations takes place from January 13 to 11th of February 2024. And of course, it promises to be an exciting one. So Nottingham Forest, of course, will be the highest loser when the AFCON takes place.
Yeah, they have so many players. I saw the players, and for me, it will be very bad for them. I don't know how they are going to do within that period. They should just pray that maybe some of the players are not invited. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 are not invited during the tournament, and maybe let's see how it goes. So it has always been like that. Players being invited January during the Nations Cup. So the club should know about this, and I know they will be prepared for the losses of these players because they know that within that 1 month interval, they're going to lose these players.
All right, let's bring in the fixtures this weekend in the Premier League as Liverpool will be national against Everton, and we'll see Bournemouth against Wolverhampton Wanderers, as well as Brentford will be national against Burnley. Manchester City will be national against Brighton and Hove Albion. Newcastle United will also be national against Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest will be national against Luton Town. Chelsea will be national against Arsenal Football Club. Sheffield United will lock horns against Manchester United, and we'll see Aston Villa against West Ham United. Okay, what do you make of the encounter between Chelsea and Arsenal this weekend? Arsenal, they've been unbeaten. Can Chelsea end that unbeaten run of Arsenal this season?
It's going to be a very, very tough game tomorrow. I think Chelsea, they are ready on winning 2 games in the league. They defeated Fulham, and also Burnley. So they'll be hoping to play this Arsenal side, a high-flying Arsenal side. They have not lost a game this season in the league, and let's see how it goes for them against Arsenal. They will be playing at home, so they will be having the home advantage, but Arsenal have shown that they can play anywhere and also get the result. So it will be a very tough one this weekend. Arsenal going to Stamford Bridge, they have not lost there in 3 games, in 3 visits. I think they have won in 3 visits to Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea have a lot of work to do this weekend to break their record.
All right, let's see how that particular one, of course, will go down. But let's bring the features from the Spanish La Liga. As, of course, we'll see one game today as Osasuna will be national against Granada tonight. Real Sociedad against Real Mallorca, and Getafe against Real Betis. Sevilla will be national against Real Madrid. Celta Vigo against Atletico Madrid. We'll see Las Palmas against Rayo Vallecano, and Girona will be national against Almeria. Villarreal will be national against Alaves. Barcelona, of course, will lock on against Athletic Bilbao. in the Italian Serie A, we'll see some interesting fixtures from tomorrow as Verona will be in action against Napoli, and Torino against Inter Milan, Sassuolo will be in action against Lazio, as Roma will be in action against Monza, Bologna against Frosinone, Salernitana against Cagliari, Atalanta against Genoa, AC Milan will be in action against Juventus. And the German Bundesliga, we'll see one game today as Borussia Dortmund will be in action against Werder Bremen, and FC Union Berlin will be in action against Stuttgart. Hoffenheim will also be in action against Eintracht Frankfurt, as Freiburg will be in action against Bochum. Standard will be in action against RB Leipzig. Wolfsburg will be in action against Bayer Leverkusen, as Mainz will also be in action against Bayern Munich, and Cologne will be in action against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Hoffenheim against Augsburg. And let's bring you the fixtures coming from the French Ligue 1 this weekend. Today we'll see Le Havre. They'll be in action against ROC Lens tonight. And tomorrow Paris Saint-Germain will be in action against Strasbourg. And Nice, of course, they will be in action against Marseille. And Lorient against Rennes. Marseille will be in action against Brest. And Nest will be in action against Montpellier. Toulouse against Rennes. Monaco against Metz. FC Lyon will be in action against Clermont Foot. And those are the fixtures, of course, we'll be expecting this weekend in the top 5 league. Wookie, what are your expectations this weekend as the matches, of course, will be unfolding?
Yes, big weekend for football. League football is back, and some teams will be playing because in the next few weeks it will be football before another international window. So Champions League coming up after the league games this weekend. So it's going to be very, very big weekend for football.